Good afternoon, Rotarians. Now, after an incredible Razorback victory, you guys can do better than that. Good afternoon, Rotarians. I even broke out my Razorback red jacket for this. All right, guys, to kick off today's meeting, I'd like for Pam Hathaway to lead us in the four-way test, prayer, and pledge. Pam?
That's so nice. Good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon.
If you'll join me in the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And please bow and join me in prayer. Creator of all, we come before you today in humility and faith. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and your strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and grace and to be faithful in our service. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thanks to our greeters, Marge Betley, Kellen Davis, Hope McConnell, and Stacy Wilson. And special thanks to Kellen and Stacy. You know what I mean. Appreciate you guys helping out today. Next, I'd like for Crittenden County native Dan Young to introduce our guests, and Molly McNulty will introduce our newest member to Club 99. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, President Denver. And we want to welcome all of our guests. I will call the guest's name, and if you will stand with your host, and then we'll do all the applause at the end. Our guests today are Devo Sitterman with Jamie Taylor, Marion Humphrey Jr. with Sharon Hurd, Adam Jackson with Jim Jackson and Lisa Farrell, Vivi Sanchez also with Jim Jackson and Lisa Farrell, Aaron Sadler with Jennifer Glasgow, Joe Davis with Mayor Frank Scott, April Jackson with Mayor Frank Scott, Tian Copay with Mayor Frank Scott, Calvin Cheney, guest of Rachel O'Neill, Adrian Collins, guest of Susan Altruy, Stephen Person, guest of Suzanne Payton, and Tanya Hooks, guest of Susan Altruy. Thank you all for coming today.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to introduce our newest member to Club 99, Jennifer Ronell. She is sponsored by Christian O'Neill and Ellen Cockrell. Jennifer, a native of Huntsville, Alabama, graduated with the highest honors from the University of Texas with a bachelor's degree in government in 1990. She then graduated with honors from Harvard Law School with a JD in 1996. She was admitted to the District of Columbia and Arkansas bars also in 1996. Jennifer was a corporate and international tax attorney with Covington and Burling in Washington, D.C. from 1996 to 1998. She was an insurance regulatory attorney with Mitchell, Williams, Seelig, Gates, and Woodyard from 1999 until 2005. She is a leadership Greater Little Rock Class of 11 member. She was president of the Junior League of Little Rock from 2006 to 2007 and is a past board member of Congregation B'nai Israel. She has served the state on the Arkansas Development Finance Authority Board. She was also the 2017-2018 president of the Pulaski Heights Middle School PTSA, is a past president of the Forest Park Elementary School PTA, and last year, in 2020 and 2021, served as the president of the Little Rock Central High School PTSA. She is currently on the Tiger Foundation Board. She is also on the UAMS Hospital Board of Advisors, the UAMS Rockefeller Cancer Institute Board of Advisors, and the Envoys Board. She is a founding member of the Envoys Board with a mission of increasing public awareness of cutting-edge cancer treatment and prevention that is available at UAMS. She is currently the senior counsel at Metal Recycling Corporation. She and her husband, Club 99er Steve, are residents of Little Rock, and they have 3 children, Jason, Marilyn, and David, all who attended Little Rock Public Schools. Their roots are deep in our community, and we are delighted that you've joined us as part of Club 99. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Molly. Congrats, Jennifer. It's so great to have you in Club 99. What I love about this is, her husband, Steve, has been in the club for many, many years, but as they will now be spousal members, but guess who's going to be the lead member of the spousal membership? So thank you, Jennifer. We're so grateful to have you. And now our new member streak continues. Anybody care to guess? 34 consecutive meetings. That's amazing. Let's keep it going, y'all. Next, I'd like for Dunbar Committee Chair Dan Parker to provide an update on our mentoring initiative. Dan? What's that for you?
Thank you, Denver. I wanted to speak just briefly about the Dunbar Magnet Middle School Mentoring Program. We have 9 students. They signed up, they stepped up, and they said, I want a mentor. They got their guardian consent to do so. So that's a big step for a young person, 6th, 7th, or 8th grader. And my mentee is Jager. He's got 6 brothers and 1 sister. They live in 3 different homes. They're from Guatemala. He came here when he was 3 years old. He likes checkers. He likes Oreo cookies, and he loves to make his mama proud, like many of us, or all of us, I'm sure. He's one of those kids that needs a mentor. He's very shy. He's almost introverted. And the mentors are going to run the gamut from extroverts to introverts and everything in between. But it's initially, we've been going 3 weeks so far. Initially, you're just trying to become a friend, a trusted ally, somebody who's interested in what they do. And that will move into helping them set goals, helping them to meet people who might have an idea about the jobs or education they might be preparing for. And who knows? There may be another Scott Ford in this group of 9 that emerges to lead a company, to lead his family, to lead another organization. I would like to introduce briefly, and if you would just raise your hand, these are the lineup of mentors for this year. Vanessa Russell, Hank Kelly, Sandra Hurst, Dan Parker, my wife Gigi Parker, Elizabeth Small, Patricia Blick, I know you're here, and then 2 of Vanessa's friends, Gina Jacuzzi and Cindy Price. I also have in the wings Beth Hathaway, Lena Hayes, Ashman, and Kelly Fleming. So we have more mentors signed up at this point in time, and I know we got started late. It was really coming out of COVID and trying to get this traction reestablished there at Dunbar took some time, but we're going to be doing it again in the fall. So if you didn't get to participate now, we'll be sharing you more updates in the future. And there'll be more opportunities to get involved because I get back much more than I give in terms of an hour a week mentoring one of these students. In closing, I'm thankful for my fellow Rotarians, especially the Dunbar mentors, and I would ask for prayers for the Dunbar mentees. And then, like President Peacock and Jay Gadbury, I'm thankful for them hogs.
That was great, Dan. Appreciate so many of you that are helping mentor these young men and women at Dunbar. As we've learned throughout the year, a recurring theme, there's nothing more important than having a mentor throughout your life and mentoring someone else. And so no matter how old you are, how young you are, it's important to have both. And I think we're going to learn a little bit more about that during our conversation later this afternoon. Next week, please join us for our annual Little Rock Police Awards, chaired by Drew Harper. Mayor Scott will be back with us again next week, so please make an effort to be here to honor the men and women of our Little Rock Police and those who protect and serve our community. During our La Petite Roche Tricentennial, I will spend my year as president telling unique stories about our region's past 300 years. Today, I would like to tell the story of one of Little Rock's most important educational institutions. Founded in 1877, Philander Smith College is the result of the first attempt west of the Mississippi River to make education available to freedmen, or former slaves. The forerunner of the college was Walden Seminary, named in honor of Dr. J.M. Walden, one of the originators and the first corresponding secretary of the Freedmen's Aid Society. The school was chartered on March 3, 1883, as the first historically black four-year college in Arkansas, with its first baccalaureate degree conferred in 1888. Like most black colleges and universities in the country, it originated in the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, commonly known as the Freedmen's Bureau. The War Department organized the Freedmen's Bureau in 1865, just before the Civil War ended. Throughout its 6-year existence, the Bureau sold confiscated properties and raised money to help the freed slaves gain access to the rights that they were denied during slavery. Among these was the right to be educated. Originally located in the Wesley Chapel Methodist Church at 8th Street and Broadway, the seminary was designed to educate black ministers. Reverend Thomas Mason, its first president, moved the school in 1882 to a new campus at 10th and Center Streets. And in July of 1948, the site of Little Rock Junior College, some of you may recall the story of their national championship, adjacent to the south end of Philander Smith's campus, was purchased. In the late 1880s and the 1890s, the college offered, get this, classical and scientific degrees with courses in Greek, Latin, algebra, natural philosophy, and others. Moral and religious education, including prayer meetings and Bible studies, was required. Tuition was free for pre-ministerial students and $1 a month for everyone else. In the 1960s, Philander Smith students negotiated a 1963 agreement with downtown Little Rock merchants to desegregate public transportation and facilities, and conducted peaceful but public demonstrations at the Arkansas State Capitol following the 1968 assassination of Martin Luther King, Jr. And with the end of segregated higher education, black colleges had to deal with cultural identity issues. Desegregation had a paradoxical effect on the institutions that had trained the black intellectuals who dismantled the Jim Crow system. Between 1976 and 1994, predominantly white colleges experienced a 40% increase in black enrollment, whereas historical black institutions increased by only half that amount. Lower endowments for black colleges, seen as a direct result of the wide income gap between African Americans and whites, put huge financial pressures on small private black colleges. The relevance of historically black schools was questioned, although as of the beginning of the 21st century, a third of all bachelor's degrees awarded to African Americans come from historically black institutions. 70%, get this, 70% of the nation's black physicians and dentists, as well as half of all black engineers, are educated at historically black institutions. Pretty amazing. In spite of the challenges faced by all schools entering the 21st century, the school has continued to grow in size and in reputation. The faculty and the student body of the college remain predominantly black, and everyone, of course, loves the famous Philander Smith College Collegiate Choir. Lawrence Hamilton, God rest his soul. Notable graduates include Stax Records founder Al Bell, former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jocelyn Elders, Professor Reverend James H. Cone of Union Theological Seminary in New York, Little Rock's first female mayor, Lottie Shackelford, and professional athletes Elijah Pitts and Hubert Geese Osby. Pitts notably scored 2 touchdowns for the Green Bay Packers in the first Super Bowl. Geese was a longtime member, as many of you know, of the Harlem Globetrotters, and noted lawyer and businessman Scipio Jones took classes there before his transfer to Shorter College. Even today, more than 40% of Philander Smith students are first-generation college students. Earlier this year, Philander began offering its first graduate degree, a Master's of Business Administration. So, you may be asking, what about Philander Smith? Who was he, and why is the school named after him, right? Anybody asking themselves that question? Born in New York, Philander Smith dabbled in politics and developed a measure of wealth through real estate deals in northern New York, Iowa, Illinois, and Minnesota. And in the early 1870s, when his friend John Budlong was beginning his new life in Rockford, Illinois, Smith moved to Oak Park, an affluent suburb of Chicago. He owned many properties and spent freely in support of the Methodist Episcopal Church. And Philander's open wallet extended far beyond Chicago. His fortune funded many charity efforts overseas, and after his death in 1882, the giving continued through the energetic efforts of his wife, Adeline. With a bank account, the modern equivalent of about $5 million, she was a busy giver. In China, she funded the Philander Smith Memorial Hospital, a school, a biblical institute, a deaconess home, and 2 other facilities. In Japan, there was the Philander Smith Biblical Institute. In India, she financed the Philander Smith Institute, a church, and several large buildings used for various purposes. And in the States, back home, other recipients were several missionary groups, aid societies, churches, and social organizations. Included among them was the Freedmen's Aid Society and an interest in the work of the church in the South. So in 1882, when Adeline read a Christian Advocate article about the school needing funds, and after a meeting with the then president, she agreed to donate $10,500, or what would likely be about $320,000 today. The trustees accepted the gift and gave it special recognition by changing the name of the struggling school the next year to Philander Smith College. And that's our Illuminating the Rock story for this week. Next, I'd like for Shannon Hurd to introduce this week's special program. Shannon?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. How are y'all doing today? I'm Shannon Hurd. I'm the Associate Director of Executive Education with the Walton College of Business at the University of Arkansas. How about those hogs this past weekend? It's my pleasure today to introduce two incredible public servants, Mayor Frank Scott of Little Rock and Mayor Jalen Smith of Earl, Arkansas. These change agents are dedicated to improving the quality of life for their citizens and are setting the example of what authentic leadership looks like: integrity, respect, empowerment, and service. Their being here today also speaks to the power of mentorship. Years ago, when Frank was with First Security Bank, my conversation with him actually inspired me to pursue a master's degree. I see Frank today in what he's accomplishing for Little Rock as our Chief Growth Officer, and I couldn't be prouder to call him my mayor, mentor, and friend. And now there's a new generation of young leaders like Jalen Smith, the first young Black mayor in the United States, who is inspiring the world through his leadership and enthusiasm for the future of Earl. I am so delighted to say that we are in the presence of greatness. Mayor Jalen Smith is a native of Earl, Arkansas. For 18 years, is the newly elected mayor of the city of Earl, Arkansas, elected in December 2022. Prior to becoming mayor, Smith served as president of Earl High School's Student Government Association, class president, member of Career and Technical Student Organization, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and acted as president of Student Voice. He is currently known and globally recognized as the youngest African American mayor in the history of the U.S. government, and this momentous achievement has opened doors for appearances on The Jennifer Hudson Show, The Tawana Murphy Show, and The Roland Martin Show, among others. Mayor Frank Scott Jr. began his second four-year term as mayor of Little Rock on January 1st. During his time in office, Mayor Scott has worked towards uniting Little Rock's diverse neighborhoods through expanding our economy, creating new opportunities for educational growth for Little Rock students, enhancing public safety, and improving the quality of life in place in Arkansas's capital city. Mayor Scott has pledged to be Little Rock's Chief Growth Officer and has overseen the creation of more than 8,000 jobs to date. Little Rock's population has grown to more than 200,000 residents as the mayor pushes jobs growth and economic development, making Little Rock a catalyst for the New South. He currently serves as the president of the African American Mayors Association, a national organization representing African American mayors across the country. Without further ado, Jalen Smith, Frank Scott Jr.
Shannon, you almost made me cry. It's indeed an honor to be here today with my dear friend Jalen as we start this conversation. So everyone kind of relax, realize that the Hogs are in the Sweet 16. We're trying to figure out how Denver was able to snag tickets directly behind Mrs. Musselman, but also get the great picture of Coach taking his shirt off. So, all right. So everyone has heard the great introduction about Jalen, who's a dear friend. I'm honored to be a mentor of his. But quite frankly, I can just a quick short story. My executive assistant and the person who runs my life is Bridget Newsom. She's over here, and so. Y'all pray for her because I'm hard on her. I'm grateful for her. I'll never forget, we have scheduling meetings, things of this nature, and she says, hey, there is a now 17-year-old who wants to visit with you, and he's talking about running for mayor, and he's from Earl, Arkansas. Do you want to take this meeting? And you can imagine as being mayor, a number of meeting requests that you have to sift through and things of that nature. And I said, well, heck, if he's 17 and he wants to run from there, I need to sit down with this guy and see what's going on. I couldn't believe it. It was a Zoom call in the midst of COVID-19. And so I can tell you, he is just as dynamic today as he was when he was 17. And to see the fire that he had via Zoom, but now to see him allow that fire to come in a more positive fashion for the city of Earl and a great representation of our state across the world right now. We're very grateful for Jalen. So Jalen, I just honor you for your ability just to go out on faith and the audacity to do what you want to do. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Going back to that day you took that meeting with me, it was
Oh gosh.
it was a pretty amazing meeting with Mayor Frank Scott. Seeing a mayor that's being very supportive and there for you. Because a lot of times when I started on my trail of shadowing mayors and meeting with different mayors, I had some mayors that wouldn't take a meeting, and it just motivated me to continue to reach out to different mayors around the state. And having that conversation, it just motivated me to, if Mayor Frank Scott can do it, I can do it. And that just triggered me even more to run for mayor. And I thank you for that.
Well, tell us a little bit. While I know you, many people here do not. So help us understand who is Jalen.
Okay. So, again, my name is Jalen Smith, the mayor of Earl, Arkansas. And I'm going to kind of tell you the why and the how of how I got where I am today. And most of that was hard work and faith. And so when I was a kid, growing up, my dream and my passion was to become an Arkansas State Trooper and to help senior citizens. I don't call them old people, I call them senior citizens. And so we're growing up helping them wash dishes, check out trash, just basically to help because I had a passion and the drive of helping them. And as I got to high school, I had two young men that approached me and asked me to join a particular organization called Student Government. At the time, it was called Student Council, but I didn't like the name, so I said, let's change it to Student Government to make it sound more professional. And so they came to me, and I was like, what is this? What does this consist of? So I went home, I looked in the mirror, and I asked myself, do I believe within myself? Because how can I have somebody else believe in me if I don't believe in me? And I prayed, I dropped to my knees, and God gave me the okay, join an organization. I joined it, got more involved in my school, not only in my school, being advocates for students and advocates for education, but in the community as well. My passion and my drive, my dedication, and my commitment is with helping and serving people. And so before my senior year, I had two young men, I'm sorry, not again. But we had a roundtable conversation about what we wanted to do once we graduated high school. And I said I wanted to be mayor, lawyer, DA, Arkansas State Trooper, a whole lot. But particularly, I wanted to be the mayor of Earl. But when I said that, I didn't know what time or the time frame I was going to do that. And so I wrote the vision, I made it plain, and my colleague said, I can see you being the mayor and the president of the United States. And I just said, I receive it. I receive it. And when I announced my campaign my senior year, so I was going to high school, going to college, and running a campaign. And with a part-time job, too. And so when I told my people, my constituents of Earl that I wanted to be the mayor, a lot of them took me as a joke, which I figured they was going to do that anyway. But I had to prove to them that I wanted to be the mayor of the city of Earl, Arkansas. And it was a hard task, but I knew that I can convince them, show them that I could be capable of being the mayor at a young age. Now, when I did that, it kind of opened a lot of more eyes for people in the community. I think he can be mayor. I think he can do something in this community to change the dynamic of it. And when I showed him that, it just basically convinced him. I had him on all over, but the greater good was the young people. That's who won the campaign. the young people. And so my class of 2022, 21, 20, 19, and 18, I got out and I got them registered to vote. Now, if I couldn't get to their grandparents, I had them. Yes. And so when I couldn't get to their grandparents, I sent their grandkids to them for me. So they can talk to them, so they can see a different perspective than what I was talking to them. Because when I was running, I had to learn as a leader to listen to the people, even though we know already. But just listening to them will make a big difference. And I sat in their house for hours, probably 2 hours at the most. And they were just going on about issues and challenges that we were facing in the community. And I told them, if elected as mayor, I want to focus on public safety, economic development, and infrastructure. But I ran my campaign down in a more specific way, where public safety, beautification, abandoned houses, new houses, public transportation, grocery stores, streets, and sewer systems. Nobody never ran a campaign like that in Earl. And it was like, those are the issues that we're facing. But they wanted to, and particularly, they wanted to see a grocery store. And so when I was running, I had to meet with our state representative in my district, and he was like, it's going to be a struggle getting a grocery store. And I told him these words: I'd rather go through the struggle and not do anything. That's with anything I do. And also when I was running, I had a lot of negativity. I was too young. I'm just 18 and I don't know nothing. But I knew I was going to have those negative comments. And I was actually grateful for them because they didn't do nothing but sharpen me even more. And people wanted me to kind of get off track to interfere with what they were saying. But I didn't, because I knew that I was going to have obstacles, challenges, and distractions. And so I just continued to keep my eye on the prize. Because people are going to talk regardless if you're doing something good or bad. That's just life we live in. But I'm grateful for those people that was talking negative and still talking negative about me to keep me sharp. And I have a lot of people ask me how I stay focused and how I just stay so humble. And I was like, I have a team of people that I work with every day. And one particular person is always difficult of how I dress, how I walk in the office, ideas I bring to the table. And that's what I want them to do, be difficult for me. So when the people come, I just say thank you, just move on. So that person that's being difficult to me is just basically keeping me sharp. And have a support system with family, community members, mayors from around the state and different states to support me, it's just very motivating to continue to keep me pushing even further. Because I know that being mayor, we're going to have challenges, obstacles, and distractions. But I'd rather face those challenges and obstacles on the face front and just back away from them. To show the people that we can fight. I'm your mayor, that I can fight for you. In my 3 months being in office, it's been amazing to me. You know, doing different things in the community, showing the community that we have potential of growing. Because a lot of people in the community, when I took office, they didn't have hope, or they didn't believe this community of Earl, Arkansas could grow. My first day in office was in a flooding crisis. And a lot of the cause of that flooding crisis was people weren't checking drainage system, people's housing was full of water. But once I got in, I observed what was the cause of it. I just told them to clean those drainages, and all that water started to flood out. And I had people calling me like, I'm so grateful you did that. You know, I'm so grateful you got our flooding. Some of it caused and some of it done. And like I tell people, you know, it's not about just getting an office and holding a seat or a mayor job. Because if I wasn't mayor, I'd still be going hard than I am as mayor right now. Because my passion of helping people just keep me going. Even though I have some of them that's difficult, but I'd rather them to be difficult to me to keep me sharp even more as well. So I ain't gonna continue to keep
Well, no, you just helped me out. So you were able to answer my second and my third question.
Okay, good.
That just shows that the ESP that we have right now. One of the things that we know, I know you've been on the job now 79 days.
Yes, sir.
I know when you're in your first term as mayor, everyone counts each and every day. And because those days are very precious to you because you'll never get them back. But I know as mayor, there are going to be some good days, some bad days, and some ugly days.
Yes, sir.
And so I hope you haven't had any ugly days in 79 days, but I'm
Couple
pretty
of them,
sure
but
you've
hey.
had some bad days. So what I would like to ask you is you've inspired so many people already just sharing who you are, sharing your why. But let's get to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
What would you say that in these 79 days that you most dislike about being mayor? And it's okay. You can give a real
I'm gonna be
answer.
honest. With 79 days, not getting a lot of things done, things I want to do. Even though I know it's a process and trusting the process, but I'm the type of guy. I set high goals and high expectations for myself and for the city. And even though some of the things and some of the goals that we don't get done, I'm the type of guy. Oh my goodness, I'm like I want to get this done by this time to show the people that we're trying to grow the city. And that's pretty much my thing I don't like about it, not getting things done like in the first 3 months of office, because you look into the resources, it's a process. You have to play the waiting game. You have to do this. You have to do that. That's pretty much the thing I dislike. And when you have people or your constituents that don't understand the process of what it takes to get things, it just make it more disliking. But pretty much my people in the city, they kind of understand that, well, it's been going down this long, but I'm trying to have them to keep the faith in, even though we don't see things right now. Since I've been in office, I did a job fair within the community. This job fair never happened in the history of Earl, Arkansas. Then I just did a food drive last Wednesday that never happened within the city, but it happened at different churches. And so showing the people that the city, we care for you. We're there for you. We want to have your input, because I tell the people all the time that it's not an I thing. It's never an I thing. It's we, the people of Earl, Arkansas, myself, the city council, and the people working together to move our train forward. And not having the people on board is a bigger, more barrier. But since I've been in office, I done had half of the community come get involved, because they want to see the growth of the city. And not only making history in this country, it's like things that we do, we can kind of qualify for, get our feet in the door. People want to come and invest in the community. But I tell them all the time, people will not come invest in your community when they see how nasty it is. Because I see Earl as my house. Like when we go home, that's how I see the city of Earl. And I want to get it clean, so when we do get businesses, they see we're a clean city. And they see we're capable of growing.
No, that's great. That's great. We talked about, what you dislike over the past 79 days, and you shared the process of maybe not getting things done as quickly as you would like. If you can speak into the future, 2 years from now, what would you have gotten done?
In 2 years of now, I believe, I ain't gonna say I think, I believe that our public safety, we have a 24/7 police department. We'll have kind of some of housing up. I believe we'll have a grocery store. Some of our streets will be fixed within the city. And more opportunities for our youth and senior citizens will be there in 2 years. So I'm just gonna jump to 4 years. I believe that in 4 years, I strongly believe in 4 years, Earl will be the double its size right now. I believe that.
That's awesome. So one of the things that you've had the opportunity to do already, many folks here may not know, we're here now in the Clinton Presidential Library Center. Guess maybe in month one, you were invited to go speak at the Clinton Global Initiative, or Clinton Global University Initiative. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I had President Clinton team reached out to me. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It just shocked my eyes, because my assistant brought it to me. President Clinton's team reached out to you. I said, no, he didn't. And so when I saw the email, And it was like, I want you to come be on a panel in Nashville, I think it was March 4th, I want to say March 4th, to have a conversation with the why and how to inspire young people. And I took the opportunity, I wasn't gonna hesitate. I took it, and when I went down there and I had conversation with the president, it was a great conversation because he always came to Earl. He participated in churches within the city before I was born. I'm gonna say that before I was born. And so he always came to Earl. He went to Earl High School, the high school I graduated from. And so he kind of was familiar with the city already. And he was like, I want to help you make Earl better. And it just inspired me even more to life is more worthwhile when you just based off having a conversation. And having those conversations, when I had that conversation with him, I didn't think he was going to come help Earl. But he did, because a lot of people see smaller communities of no potential, no opportunities, different things. But I always, when I had a conversation with him, he was like, why didn't you move on somewhere? And I told him, I would rather make a difference within the city of Earl than go somewhere else and make a difference somewhere else, than not go back to my community. And when I said that, it just blew him away, because that's how I feel about my community and rural communities. Not to get off topic, but that's kind of the why I ran as well, because I just got tired of us young people leaving our communities to go somewhere else bigger, to make a bigger impact and not make the impact in our communities or where we come from. And so I wanted to make a bigger difference in Earl, Arkansas, before I moved on to the next phase of my life. Because a lot of people, young people, they come home, we have a homecoming, different games like that, and they was like, what's up with Earl? Why they not making a difference? Why things are not changing? And my reply is, how can your community change if you're not investing in your community or giving back to the community? Yeah.
Well, Jalen, you definitely are a moderator's dream. I had a list of, 10 to 15 questions, and all I needed to do was ask 3 and really just shut up. But that's a good segue. We do want to make time for members of the audience to please ask us a few questions, or ask Jalen a few questions. Yes, ma'am.
I'm actually doing both. So I'm doing mayor, going to college.
I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat for the camera. The question was that you were taking college classes while in high school and running for mayor. What's your scholastic plans moving forward?
So I'm actually in college. I do college online. So I have a mayor job, part-time job, and go to college. So I wanted to continue to further my college education, but at the time I was trying to do, I didn't know how, because I actually had got out of school and I was ready to take on a big task. And I was like, I can do online to kind of work at my own pace, because it's actually more convenient doing it online than actually going in person. Because in person, you don't have more time like you do online. So I prefer going online to Arkansas State University, in South and West Memphis, Arkansas, to further my education.
Yes. The question, Jalen, is do you still live at home, and what do your parents think about living with the mayor if you still live at home?
Yes, I still live at home. And this week, my parents are very excited for me, very happy. My mom say, well, people say I'm a celebrity. Mom say, he ain't no celebrity, he's just a young public figure. I was like, okay. But being at home with my mom, and they're very supportive. Like, matter of fact, this week, my brother and my mom are actually going out of town this week. So I'm at home pretty much by myself, but they're very supportive in everything I do. My brother me and my brother was always in a competition of how we're gonna do things. So he's trying to find a way to come past me now. So we back in competition.
All right. Yes.
Thanks for coming here today, Mayor. I was wondering, how is it working with the other mayors in your surrounding area to leverage what you're
The question is, how is your relationship with other mayors across the state of Arkansas and your focus on the revitalization of rural communities?
That's a great question. So I have been focusing pretty much in the Creedon County area, but I have been making contact with different mayors, like in rural communities, on visions and missions they have to move their community forward. But I've primarily been working with mayors in Creedon County about their communities. A lot of communities in Creedon County are facing water crisis. And so we're trying to find ways of getting our flooding crisis fixed. So the Arkansas Black African Mayors Association came up with some funds which cities around the state can apply for to help with their flooding. And so talking with those different mayors, seeing what their vision, their mission is to kind of further of how we can grow as mayors. Because I feel like if we share, a lot of people say it's not good to share your ideas and your plans. But I believe it is, because if they're sharing their ideas, I'm sharing my ideas and plans with them, it can kind of help me of what to do in that plan and what not to do. What they think I should do, what will be good for the plan, what will not be good for the plan. Because those mayors, been through the experience already. And so I share all my experiences and my goals and different things with them on what I want to do for Earl. It was like, some of these I think would work for Earl because you have a major highway within Earl where they run right through Earl that can kind of help and bring more benefits and revenue to the city so your city can grow.
All right. One last question. Yes. The question was, I got astonished by the question myself. The question was, part of your team right now, who are they all comprised of city employees, or kind of what's your inner circle? Is that right, Tanya?
So I have some that are work for me that's on my team, and I have different people that's outside and different work for other cities that work with me, and they are mostly positive, support me in any and everything I do. But I just have one person that's difficult in everything I do to keep me sharp, and so having those people that has not only the city best interest at heart, but making sure that I'm successful and the city of Earl successful. Because like I tell them, it's not about me. It's not about Jalen Smith at all. It's about making the people of Earl successful. Because whatever God has for me, it'll come. And so having those people around is just so amazing. We get up. Like being also a bit mayor as well, I cannot get a lot of stuff done during the day. So I would have to come in like at 5:30 a.m. or stay later from 5 to 10 p.m. to get things done with them, because we have a lot of people coming in at the office meetings and different things. But having those people there is very amazing and supportive, because when I come in the office, some days I don't come in the office like probably about 8:30, 9 some days. And they come in like with a song. I walk in on a song every morning. Because I'm a gospel guy, so I listen to like gospel music, country music, all types of music. But particularly gospel and country music, and they play those songs to kind of keep me going throughout the day. Because having that music in my ear also, it motivates me too, because of the power in the song. Because I kind of take out the power of those amazing words in the song and put it into my vision and proceed with it.
Yes, this will be the last one, Aaron.
I know there's not a Rotary Club in Earl. I think you've got a Rotary Club in a couple of counties near you. But what are you doing to reach out in your area to clubs, like organizations like Rotary, other businesses, civic leaders, to help you get support for Earl?
The question is, what are you doing and working with other organizations like Rotary in Earl and across Crittenden County to be helpful?
Great question. Actually, I'm working with West Memphis have a Rotary Club. I'm working with them on different supports of how they can be a great of assistance to Earl, or what are some of the resources and sources that they can help me um, um, go with my vision. Like, say I wanted to, well, public safety is a big target for me. And so we don't have a 24/7 police department. So I'm trying to find what other ways that I can find funding to help fund our police department so the officers can get paid, and having not only those Rotary clubs, but different groups and um, legislative leaders to help find us that money, because if our local people don't have it, I know that our state people have it. And if our state people don't have it, our federal leaders have it. And they just kind of pass it down. And I have different meetings with our Rotary clubs in West Memphis, not only them, but different other groups and legislators as well, to make sure our city is being successful.
Yes.
Can you tell me where you got that suit? Because I'm going to get one.
Oh, I actually got.
The question was, I'm not used to repeating questions. The question was, where did you get your suit? Yeah, because he's going to get one.
So, great question. So this suit, I got it out of Memphis. This is a $400 suit. But the thing is, I didn't get it for $400. I got it for a lot cheaper. So when I went and got this suit, I actually bought 8 suits, and it's suits similar to this one, and I actually like these suits better than the plain suits. But I got it from a store called M&K in Memphis off Perkins. It's a great store. When you go, let me know. I got you.
All right, Coach Denver said one more question. One more question. This will truly be the last question. Yes, Teron?
Okay, as an 18-year-old young man, what is your outlook and how do you debrief from being the orderer and the mayor of Earl?
The question is, as the 18-year-old man and mayor, what is your outlet? How do you kind of let go?
Which number one is driving. Driving is where I find peace and I like to explore when I'm driving. But so, I'm just put it like this. I'm a different type of 18-year-old, 19-year-old now. So I don't too much go to out to eating, bowling, like normal things 18-year-old do. And so what I kind of do when I have free time, or I make it a lot now, but where I kind of find like a place to debrief, I serve families and I kind of debrief off serving families and being a comforter to them. And so when I'm doing that on Saturdays and Saturdays most all the time, it just kind of helped me find more peace as well, and a kind of debrief from everything. Because a mayor job is not a regular 8 to 4 job. It's a 24/7 round the clock, all day, all night job. And so when technically I'm not off on the weekends, but when I'm off on the weekends, I do serve families. If I'm not doing that, also another way to help me find, trying to get my mind away from everything, I just wash my car. I wash my car, I ride ATVs, and pretty much is what I do. I don't pretty much go out and do different things, because I just feel like all that can wait until I get where I want to be in life. But at the same time, I want to live and enjoy it too. But I can, but I just choose to my mind is focused on being successful and making sure people are succeeding. That's where my mind is. Like, I'm sorry. No. So, also I left out some as well. So, like me, I get this a lot that I'm an old soul. Like people say, I have an old soul. I'm just a young man with an old person body, which I'm grateful for that. But also when I was in high school too, I left something out as well. My 9th grade year, this was my wardrobe right here. I wore suits to school, 9th grade until now. I know it's probably shocking, but I wore suits to school my 9th grade year because in my mind, in order for me to go where I want to go, I have to dress like it. I had to dress where I wanted to go. Now, when I went to places, different meetings and things, before I became mayor, I had suits on, and I talked to different people I didn't even know. I was just a person to network, to talk with people, just to get the phone on, just call them, and whatever they can help me with, I just did that. And based off me dressing where I wanted to go, having those conversations, initiating those conversations, also helped me as well too when I became here as well.
That's great. I think that's a great segue to Denver, who's going to share. Let's all give Mayor Jalen a round of applause.
Thank you, Shannon. Mayor Smith and Scott, that was incredible. I'm a native of McCrory, Woodruff County. I know Dan Young's from Crawfordsville, and so we're just so grateful to have you here, another Delta boy in Little Rock today. So grateful for all you're doing to make a difference in the Delta and in your hometown, and we just very much appreciate you taking time to share it with us today. I want to thank Whitney Buellerwell of the Arkansas Municipal League for helping set up this meeting today. She was unable to be here today because of spring break, but she was instrumental in making this happen. So a shout out to Whitney. Please thank her when you see her. As part of our speaker series this year, all of our speakers are going to be getting books as part of our literacy initiative, as a big core part of Rotary International. And these are all books by Little Rock Connected authors. And you'll get one today as a token of our appreciation. But at the end of the year, we will list your name among all the other speakers and give a selection of these books to all of our area Little Rock School District resource centers and elementary libraries. And so we want to say thank you for taking time to be with us today. So I would like to present those in just a second after we shut down the meeting, and we'll do that together for a group photo. But yeah.
Before the mayor wants to give some last word, he asked me. I'm
just
doing what I'm told.
I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to come here on this amazing Tuesday to be with you all to share my inspiration with you all. And I hope that I could be an even more inspiration to your children, to young people, to get involved in their communities. Show the world what they're about and let them know the impossible is possible. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, thanks again to both of you. Next week, our annual Little Rock Police Awards. Don't miss it. Enjoy this beautiful spring day. And with that, go Hogs. We are adjourned.